Joining me right now is Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. Senator, thanks very much for being here. I know you were just in Israel last week. You met with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, but you were originally denied entry into the country. What happened?
Yes, well, we had a change of heart from our State Department. It was incredibly important that our bicameral, bipartisan delegation continue with our congressional delegation visit into Israel, even after the attacks had occurred. It was incredibly important that we show we are standing united with Israel, shoulder to shoulder, and there was absolutely no daylight in our messaging when it came to our, again, bipartisan delegation.
So how do you view what you just heard from Mike Tobin? We're hearing and looking at this video of a hostage, a young woman who has already been shot at. Iran is warning of a possible preemptive action against Israel in the coming hours as Israel prepares for that ground offensive on the Gaza Strip. Iran's foreign minister writes on X this: time is running out for political solutions, and that's probable spread of war in other fronts is approaching an unavoidable stage, Senator. As we watch this woman get, manhandled and attacked as a hostage, how does the U.S. look at this in terms of support and talking to Israel in terms of its next move?
Maria, this is absolutely heartbreaking, and we have seen such slow action coming out of the White House. I continue to press the administration on the rescue of these hostages. We must not forget that there are mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters out there that are praying for the safe release of their loved ones, and yet we haven't heard much coming out of this administration. Now, Tuesday, when I was in Israel, one of the very first phone calls that I made was to our special envoy for hostages, Roger Carstens, to discuss the situation and press the issue. We cannot forget that there are Americans being held in the Gaza Strip. 30 Americans killed that we know of so far, and an additional 13 that are being held. We must not forget them, and we must act quickly.
I mean, Senator, the reality of the situation is incredibly dangerous. President Biden is now going to Israel tomorrow. God forbid, if anything happens to President Biden, God forbid, Kamala Harris is in charge here. If God forbid that doesn't work out, the number 3 person in charge of leading this country is the Speaker of the House, and there's none. Your thoughts?
Yes, Maria, this is time for strong leadership, and we have lacked that for a very long time, at least from the administration. So we need a president that will be forthright, forthcoming on all of these national security issues, but then we need strong leadership in our House of Representatives as well. And so I do encourage our House members, please come together soon. We have a nation to lead, and we cannot do without leadership, both in the White House and in the Congress. So again, a call to strong leadership, and that leadership should remain united for Israel and against Hamas. We cannot allow continued appeasement of Iran and its terror proxies. It's got to stop. It's got to stop now.
Well, there's no leadership whatsoever on securing the border, that we know. Customs and Border Protection told us that 2 Iranians who reportedly pose a significant security threat were captured trying to cross the border in the past 2 weeks. 2 people from Iran. Former President Trump spoke about the border and the threat that it represents at a campaign stop last night in Iowa. Watch this.
The atrocities in Israel are a horrific reminder that immigration security is truly national security. We have people coming into our country now that are the same people in many cases as did what they did 2 weeks ago in Israel. The purpose of U.S. immigration law is not to protect the world, it's to protect the United States of America. And you've just seen these depraved savages rampaging through civilian communities, house by house, torturing, raping, and maiming innocent men, women, and children. It's horrible.
Senator, we've already seen the impact of a wide-open border. You've got not just those people coming through that were apprehended, but 1.5 million gotaways. We don't know who's in this country, Senator.
Exactly. And if you go back to those countries that are of a national security risk, CBP reported last month that there are 8,000 people from those countries that were apprehended. That's 1,000 more than we saw in August. So this is a national security risk, one that could have been solved years and years ago if only we had been allowed by the Democrats to secure our border. Isn't it interesting that you've seen a 180 coming from the president on actually building the wall? I think they are recognizing now that the risk to our own country has increased exponentially with this open border situation. So don't listen to Mayorkas. He's saying, oh, the border is secure. No, it is not. This is a national security risk. And when we have President Biden that's so weak on the world stage in pressing back against these authoritarian regimes, he is even weaker when it comes to securing our own homeland. Yeah. And again, we've got to do better, Maria.
Do you worry about a terrorist attack here in America?
Absolutely, I do, Maria. Absolutely, I do. Hamas had been building just across the border, preparing to attack Israel for years. And I fear that we have the same situation at our own border. We have opened up the border to absolutely everyone. It does increase the risk to Americans right here in our own homeland.
By the way, I'm not sure I'm buying a 180 on the border of President Biden. I know that he says he's going to build 20 miles of wall, but after all, we are a year away from a presidential election. I'm not sure if I'll believe it when I see it.
You're
Senator,
right.
Thank you.
You're right.
Yeah. Appreciate your time this morning. Joni Ernst joining us this morning in D.C. Stay with us. We'll be right back.